I used to believe we had a decent life. Nothing extraordinary but stable. Married 12 years, one child, the kind of family people called normal. My husband worked long hours in real estate, always chasing the next deal, and I stayed home, running the house, raising our son, trying to keep everything from falling apart. We didn't fight much, but we didn't really talk either. Just routines. Dinners eaten in silence, goodnights exchanged without eye contact, and birthday candles blown out more for tradition than joy. Our son, Jordan, is 12. He's always been on the heavier side, soft, quiet, easily overlooked. Food became his comfort early on. He'd hide snacks in his room, avoid gym class, and beg to stay home on days he had to present in school. He rarely spoke unless spoken to and spent most of his time watching YouTube or building Minecraft worlds. He was never the center of attention, and sometimes I feared we treated him like furniture, just there but never really seen. That was my first failure. My husband, Tom, was always in motion. If he wasn't on a call, he was prepping for one. Vacations turned into networking trips, anniversaries into rescheduled meetings. He wasn't cruel. He just wasn't present. Even when he was home, he wasn't with us. He stopped touching me, not even in passing. No more morning kisses, no lingering hugs. At night, he rolled over without a word. I'd lie awake staring at the ceiling, wondering when we stopped being lovers and became roommates. I told myself it was just a phase. That marriage did this. That what we had was still love, just quieter now. But deep down, I felt forgotten, like a shadow moving through the day, useful, reliable, invisible. I didn't want roses or grand gestures. I just wanted to be noticed. I wanted someone to ask how I was, and really mean it. Jordan noticed the cracks, I think. Children see more than we admit. He'd watch me from the couch while I did dishes, his eyes tracking me like he was trying to read my thoughts. He never asked why Dad never came home for dinner anymore. He never asked why I looked tired all the time. But I saw the confusion on his face, the unspoken questions that hovered in the silence between us. He missed things he didn't know how to name. Still, I kept going. School drop-offs, grocery runs, folding laundry at midnight. That was the deal, right? You make a life and live inside it, even when it doesn't fit anymore. I didn't expect anything to change. I certainly didn't plan on breaking anything. But something inside me had already started to fracture. I wasn't just tired. I was hollow. And I was becoming someone I didn't recognize, someone who could make a mistake big enough to ruin everything. I just didn't know it yet. He wasn't supposed to matter. It started as something small, barely worth remembering. A man I met at the gym, of all places. I had started going not out of vanity, but out of desperation, to feel something again, to not spend every hour of the day trapped in that house. He noticed me. Not in a sleazy way, not even flirtatious. Just eye contact, a smile, casual questions. His name was Eric. Divorced. Mid-40s. He asked about my day, remembered little things I said, and never looked at his phone when I talked. It shouldn't have mattered. But it did. I started adjusting my gym time to match his. Our conversations got longer. At first, it was harmless. I told myself that. A little laughter, a little attention. Then coffee. Then messages. Then waiting for his name to light up my phone. I lied to myself and called it friendship. I told myself I deserved this, someone who looked at me like I was worth seeing. Someone who didn't just walk past me like I was furniture in my own home. I told Eric I was married. He didn't care. Said he wasn't looking to wreck anything, that it wasn't serious. Just two people filling a space. That's what I clung to, the illusion of control. But it stopped being innocent the night he brushed my hand, and I didn't pull away. It stopped being nothing when I kissed him in the parking lot, and didn't feel guilt, just adrenaline. We met again. Then again. Hotel rooms, weekday afternoons. Always fast, always quiet. I became two people. One folding my son's laundry while the other texted a man she shouldn't love. It wasn't about sex, not really. It was about being seen, being wanted. When Eric touched me, I remembered I had a body. When he spoke, I remembered I had a voice. It was intoxicating, the feeling of mattering, of being alive. My husband didn't notice the change.
Or if he did, he didn't ask.
He was more disconnected than ever, lost in deals and deadlines. I stopped caring whether he suspected. I was careful, but not paranoid. Jordan was the only one I worried about. I tried to act the same around him, to be present, but guilt crept in like mold. I hated lying to him, even by omission. He didn't know, couldn't know, but he stared at me differently sometimes, like he sensed something was off. Like he knew I was slipping into some space he couldn't reach. Still, I didn't stop. I kept going back to Eric. I told myself I could handle it, that I could manage both lives. Wife, mother, lover. Like wearing masks. I thought I had control. I thought I could keep the lines clean, the secrets buried, the damage contained. I believed no one would get hurt, that I could have this one thing just for me. I believed the lie right up until the moment everything collapsed. It was a Wednesday. Tom was out of town for a conference, and Jordan was supposed to be at school until 3. I checked the time twice before sending Eric the address. He arrived just after noon. I had everything timed, planned, calculated. It wasn't the first time, but I still felt that surge of panic when I unlocked the door for him. We didn't waste time. We never did. We knew what this was and how little space it had in the real world. I didn't hear the front door open. I didn't hear the footsteps. I only saw the look on Eric's face when his eyes shifted behind me, then froze. I turned, and Jordan was standing there. He didn't scream.
He didn't speak.
He just stood, eyes wide, his backpack still slung over one shoulder. His face collapsed in slow motion, shock folding into betrayal, then into something deeper. Something I can't even name. I covered myself, but it didn't matter. The damage was already done. He looked at me like I was a stranger. No, worse, like I was something he didn't want to understand. He dropped his bag, turned, and ran. I chased him, calling his name, but he bolted up the stairs and slammed his door. Eric grabbed his things and left without a word. I didn't stop him. I stood at the bottom of the stairs, frozen, my heart pounding in my throat. The silence was louder than anything I'd ever heard. I knocked on Jordan's door. No answer. I sat outside his room for hours, apologizing through the wood, trying to explain the unexplainable. He didn't come out. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. Just silence. And somehow that was worse. I couldn't breathe. The guilt hit like a freight train. I wasn't just a bad wife now. I was a broken mother. I kept thinking about his face. Not just shocked, destroyed. I don't know how long I sat there, knees aching, whispering words that meant nothing. When he finally emerged hours later to use the bathroom, he walked past me like I didn't exist.
I didn't sleep that night.
I didn't eat the next day. I couldn't think about anything except what I'd done. He had trusted me completely. I was his safety. And I shattered it. All for what? A few hours of feeling seen? A temporary escape from my own emptiness? I wanted to believe I was still a good person who made a bad decision. But that version of the story felt thinner every minute. Tom called that evening. I told him Jordan wasn't feeling well. Another lie. I could barely speak. Jordan didn't touch his dinner.
Didn't look at me.
Just sat there, silent, eating slowly, mechanically. He looked older. Like something in him had cracked open and wouldn't close again. I knew then that this wasn't something I could fix. Not with an apology. Not with time. Some lines, once crossed, don't fade. They stay. Burned in. The next morning, he was gone before I came downstairs. No note, no goodbye. Just his empty bowl in the sink and the front door locked behind him. I waited all day, sick with the weight of what he'd seen, what I'd become. I texted him to come straight home after school. No reply. When he finally walked through the door, he avoided my eyes and went straight to his room. I didn't follow. I sat on the couch and stared at the wall, feeling more like a ghost than a mother. That night, I told Tom everything. I didn't try to spin it. No excuses, no blaming. Just the truth. His silence cut deeper than yelling would have. He didn't ask for details. He just stared at me like he didn't recognize the woman in front of him. Then he got up, took a blanket, and slept on the couch.
We didn't speak the next day.
Or the day after that. The house felt like it had cracked in half, and we were both living on separate sides of the damage. Jordan barely spoke a word. He'd leave for school, come back, go straight to his room. I tried to talk. I tried to explain.
He didn't respond.
At night, I'd listen for him, hoping to hear him cry, anything. But there was nothing. Just silence. And I realized that he was protecting himself the only way he could, by shutting me out completely. I went to therapy, alone. I didn't go to save my marriage. I went because I didn't know who I was anymore. I couldn't live with myself unless I figured out how I got here. The sessions were brutal. I had to admit things I didn't want to say out loud. That I'd chosen attention over trust. That I'd prioritized being wanted over being safe. That I had been selfish. That I had betrayed not just my husband, but the one person who looked at me like I was his whole world. Tom eventually told Jordan the truth. I don't know what words he used. I wasn't in the room. After that, Jordan stopped looking at me altogether. The hurt in his eyes became cold, flat, unreadable. It was worse than anger. Anger can be repaired. Distance, indifference, that stays. We live in the same house, but everything is different. Tom and I exist in a limbo, no affection, no decisions. Just co-parenting through gritted teeth. Jordan keeps to himself. I keep trying. Small things. Notes in his lunchbox, warm meals, quiet check-ins. He doesn't throw them away, but he doesn't respond. It's like I'm waiting for forgiveness I'll never earn. Some mistakes end marriages. Others change the shape of your child's trust forever. I didn't just cheat on my husband. I taught my son that love can lie to your face. That the one who's supposed to protect you can be the one who breaks you. That's what I carry now. Every day. Whether or not anyone ever forgives me, I know what I did. And I know what it cost.